Hi guys, thank you so much for joining me for another online yoga class. Today we're going to be working with the new moon energy. Sunday the 21st of June is the new moon, and we're going to be working with the energies that gives off to us. So the cycle of the new moon is a chance for resetting, restoring. If you have any intentions or goals that you wanted to set for yourself, this is the time to bring those into your practice. This doesn't have to be practiced during a new moon cycle. It can be practiced anytime you're feeling a little bit low on energy, or anytime that you're feeling like you want to relax and unwind. It's a restorative practice with plenty of props as well. I'm going to be using a couple of blocks, a cushion, a blanket, and an eye pillow. If you have any of those, that's going to be great. If not, don't worry about it too much. You can just use whatever you have laying around the house. So that's going to be fabulous for that. I also recommend that if you have any aromatherapy oils or candles or things like that you like, they're going to be really useful to help you calm down the nervous system. So I'm using lavender oil as my essential oil to help me tune in, but if you have something that you prefer, feel free to do that. I'll show you quickly what my setup is going to look like, so you can copy that or take something of your own. So just to show you what it is that I'm using, I've got my aromatherapy diffuser with just a couple of drops of essential lavender oil. It lets off a really nice smell. If you haven't got a diffuser, you can always just place a couple of drops of lavender oil either between your hands on your wrists, or you can place them on a cushion and you can just let the smell just diffuse to you that way. I've also got a lavender eye pillow, which is going to be really useful for my shavasana at the end. And I've got just a couple of sprigs of lavender in case you haven't got the essential oils or a diffuser. You can just use that, and again, just rub it between the palms of your hands or place it next to you where you're taking your practice. I also recommend, if you have the time, to include a pranayama technique. You can either take Nadi Shodhana, which is the alternate nostril breathing, we've done it in a couple of videos, or the Brahmari pranayama, the humming bee breath, where you hum to yourself with your ears closed, the fingers touching the crown of the head, and you'll have your eyes closed for the inhales, and then as we exhale we hum to ourselves. This is a really lovely way of tuning inwards, and I would highly recommend it if you have the time. You can either practice the pranayama at the beginning or at the end of the class. I really hope you enjoy this practice. Thank you so much for joining me. Namaste. So just starting in a comfortable seated position, just use this opportunity to connect to your breath. Begin to acknowledge how you're feeling in your body. If you wanted, you can take Gyan or Chin Mudra, your index finger and your thumb connected with the remaining 3 fingers stretched out in front. And just allow the mind to clear of any thoughts, any recurring chittavritti, mind chatter of everyday life, as we move into a place of stillness. Connecting to your intention, if you had one set for your practice. And to start off with, we're going to move into Matsyasana, the supported fish pose. So you're going to want a couple of blocks ready for this one. Just move all the rest of the props out of the way for a moment. And you're going to want the first block set up for where your head is going to be. So depending on if you wanted the head in extension, flexion, or in a more neutral position, adjust accordingly. The second block is going to be placed in between the shoulder blades. So it's best faced lengthwards, so it can sit nicely in between those shoulder blades. You'll probably need to adjust as you begin to lower down. And you can also work with what feels more comfortable in the head. The legs can come into either a cross legs position, a bound angle position, or you can extend them out long as if you're in Shavasana. And make sure you readjust to a point where you feel comfortable. Ensure that you can breathe easily and comfortably in this position. You should feel a lovely opening along the front side of the body. You should feel your shoulders drawing down towards the floor. Let the arms feel heavy as you release open. If you're in the bound angle or the cross legs position, you may also feel a nice stretch in the inner thighs and the hips. If you wanted to support the knees with blocks, again, you can do that as well. But make sure you're not feeling any strain. You can allow the breath to flow easily as you move into this place of stillness. If you feel stable and supported, you can begin to close your eyes. I recommend as much as possible that you bring your awareness to your intention. So with each breath in, allow your intention to flood through your whole body with your breath. And as you exhale, you release anything that no longer serves you. Just taking a few more deep, expansive breaths in and out. Feel the front side of the body expanding. Deepen the breath. Exhale, let it go through the nose. And to come out, gently press the elbows into the floor, bringing the fingertips nice and wide. And then from there, press up through your hands back up to a seated position. Remove the blocks. And from here we're going to move into a variation on Paschimottanasana, seated forward fold. So you may want your pillow, or if you have a bolster will be good too, or blocks. If you don't have any props, don't worry, I'll show you a variation for that too. You can just extend your legs out long, toes flex back towards you, and bring your hands to the outside of the hips and focus on lengthening through the spine, reaching the crown of the head up towards the ceiling, maintaining your steady breath. If you have got the props accessible, you can have your bolster or your cushion folded in half and gently place it on top of the thighs and begin to fold forward. If that's a bit too much of a stretch, you can place the block on top of the cushion or double up your cushions and rest your forehead down to the block. There should be no strain, no pinching sensations in the spine. You should feel a lovely opening along the back side of the body, including the hamstrings. Make sure there's no strain in the neck. Maintaining your deep breath practice, confirming your intentions to yourself with each inhale and letting go with each exhale. Taking just a couple more of your deep, expansive breaths here, allowing yourself to surrender fully to the posture as you exhale. And then as you inhale, gently release the pose. So remove the block, remove the cushion if you had it. Begin to extend the spine up, and it may even feel nice to have a little counter stretch here, so placing the palms of the hands into the floor and just lengthen the spine and lift the chin up. We're going to move into a variation on Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. An intense stretch for the inner thighs as we open up through the hips, moving them into an external rotation. So I'm going to sit up on a cushion, bring the knees in, bring the soles of the feet to touch. You can place blocks underneath the knees for support and gently hold onto the feet and lengthen the spine. Stay nice and tall here, breathing deep into the belly. If you're not feeling as much of a sensation and you'd like to take it a bit deeper into the hips, another variation is to stack the blocks in between the legs and rest the elbows onto the blocks and rest the face or the chin into the hands. Slightly different stretch. If you wanted to take it a little bit deeper, you can bring the feet in towards the groin, place the block on top of the feet and rest the forehead onto the block or a cushion if you have that. And lastly, you can bring the feet in slightly more, bring the block out in front and rest the forehead down to the block. You can also do this without the block, but make sure you're causing no strain in the neck and the head. You should be completely passive as you open up through the hips, the inner thighs, and the back body. One more deep breath in. Exhale, let it go. And then gently bring the head back up. Lengthen through the spine again. Maybe it feels nice to take that little bit of a lift, bringing the hands to the outside of the hips and lengthening, looking up. Remove the block. And we're going to bring ourselves into a supported Balasana, child's pose, one of my favorites. So if you have got a cushion or a bolster, this is going to be a really lovely way of using it. You can bring the knees to a wide leg child's pose, so knees out, toes touching, bring the bolster underneath you and rest down. If you have a little bit of strain in the fronts of the legs, the quadriceps, just place a blanket over the tops of the heels to help support you, lifting the hips a little bit higher as then you rest down onto the bolster or the cushion. And make sure you adjust here as needed. If this feels too tight along the fronts of the legs, you can adjust it by bringing yourself slightly higher up, stacking more cushions on top of each other to lay down. And make sure you rest either ear to the bolster. Make sure you have free travel of your breath. Feel your belly expanding between your legs. Bring your awareness to your intention again, breathing it in fully. Exhale, you cleanse and reset. Allow this new energy to fill you. Feel the power of the new moon energy indicating a new start for us all. And then gently press the hands into the mat, walk them back as slowly, as gently as you need to. Be mindful of the knees. Release the cushion, release the blanket if you had it. And just move your props off to one side. We're going to come into a supported Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle. So you can take whichever props feel good to you here. A nice variation that I found was to have the bolster or the folded up cushion, roll it in half so that you can begin to recline back. Make sure your head is supported. So the bolster or the cushion should be just at the bottom of the rib cage and reaching up to the back of the head so you have the support. Place the blocks on any setting underneath your knees so that you can have the more passive stretch opening through the inner thighs and the hips, soles of the feet together. And you can rest your left hand on your heart and your right hand on your belly if that feels good. But I personally find it feels nicer to release the arms alongside the body, allowing them to hang heavy, and this again draws the chest open, allows the shoulders to melt down towards the floor. Maintaining your steady breath practice, repeating your intention to yourself, feeling this new energy travel through your body, letting go of anything that no longer serves you, anything that you no longer wish to take with you into the next cycle of the moon. Use this opportunity to cleanse yourself and reset. Now, if you're comfortable in your reclined bound angle, you're more than welcome to stay here for your resting posture. If, however, you wanted to move into a more traditional Shavasana, I'm going to cue you on how to take the best, most restorative possible version of your Shavasana. So just gently open your eyes, release the blocks from underneath your knees, propping yourself up to a seat, remove the cushion, and you're going to place the blocks underneath the knees with the legs extended out long. Bring the feet wide, use the cushion underneath your head and grab a blanket. Make sure to keep all of that new energy in. And take any props that feel good to you. If you know of another adjustment that you like, feel free to take that. If you have an eye pillow or an eye mask, you can use that now. Allow the arms to rest alongside the body with the palms facing up. Maybe bring them a little bit wider than you ordinarily would as you rest in your Shavasana. Coming into a place of complete stillness. Allow the body to feel heavy and supported as it sinks into the earth beneath you, holding you, protecting you. Allow the breath to steady. Allow the mind to quiet. Anytime you feel your mind beginning to drift away, returning to the chittavritti of everyday life, just softly bring it back to the breath. Softly bring it back to your intention. Just allow yourself to rest here. Shavasana. And now once more begin to gently deepen the breath. Begin to watch the journey of your breath traveling in and out through the nose. Feel it expanding through your chest, your ribs, and your belly. And as you exhale, you let go. One more time, you reset. Begin to bring some gentle movements back into the body, the fingers, the toes. Work your way through to your wrists and your ankles. And then when you're ready, take any stretch that feels good to you. Bring your arms up overhead or off to the side. And then when you're ready, softly roll over to your right hand side, just holding here for a breath or two, showing gratitude for turning up into your practice today. And then using your left hand as a support, gently prop yourself back up to a seat, bringing the palms together at the heart center. Thank you all so much for practicing with me today. As you go forward, I wish you peace in your thoughts, peace in your words, peace in your heart. Namaste.